ActionSA calling for the immediate criminal prosecution of the former CEO of the Road Accident Fund, Letsoalo, following his failure to comply with the subpoena issued today by the Standing Committee on Public Accounts in Parliament. The committee is probing the Road Accident Fund's operations. Alan Beesley is a member of Parliament for ActionSA, a member of that committee. Alan, good afternoon to you. I mean, astonishing. Letsoalo had said so many times he had done nothing wrong, done interview after interview. The moment comes for him to come to Parliament and he's ducked it.
I agree with you fully, and it's hugely disappointing. I mean, he said all along he's got nothing to hide. When the time comes to account for, he's just gone missing in action, and it's very disappointing. I think it's disappointing for Parliament from an oversight mechanism, and disappointing for South Africans. Many people have been denied proper payments from the Road Accident Fund. Many staff have been handed out of the Road Accident Fund. And as South Africans, we demand accountability. Every time fuel goes into a fuel tank, R2 is going towards the Road Accident Fund. And it's just become a cesspool of corruption and incompetence. And he needs to come and give an account.
Have you heard at all from him? I know you tried to subpoena him. The sheriff was unable to locate him at his various legal addresses that he had given. And then, as I understand it, in fact, you went to Parliament and asked them to try and contact him in some other way.
Yeah, it's actually quite bizarre what's happening. Apparently, a letter was sent from his attorneys late Friday, Saturday, but nobody's received the letter. And yeah, I mean, he's just ducking and diving, and that's all that he's doing at the moment. There's absolutely no reason why he shouldn't be appearing before SCOPA, And the one thing that's important for us as ActionSA, we don't want Parliament just to be a talk shop. There needs to be accountability. I asked the Auditor General once, what's the one thing that she thinks that to turn public service, Parliament around, government around? And she said, for people who do not follow the laws of the land to be put in orange overalls. He's legally bound to come before SCOPA, and if he doesn't appear, which it looks like he's not going to appear, he needs to be put in orange overalls, because otherwise Parliament just becomes another talk shop.
You've been hearing testimony at SCOPA from other people who were working at the Road Accident Fund when he was the CEO there. Based on what they've said, what questions do you want to ask him? At this point, we haven't heard his version. He's refused to give it. What do you believe he's done?
Yeah, there's so many questions. I mean, the one big thing is there's been a disclaimed adverse audit report for the last 5 years. So we as ActionSA have worked out that there's 500 billion in unrecorded liabilities, and it's massive. It has a huge impact on the fiscus. It's far worse than Eskom ever was. And we asked an actuary who had been dismissed, as our estimate correct? And he said, no, it is correct. So they've essentially hidden 500 billion rands worth of liabilities. And then secondly, they changed the whole operating model of how the RAF worked. And as a result of that, the amount of claims that have been finalized since his arrival to now has dropped by 75%. And it's absolutely massive that. And then on top of that, they go and have an awards evening costing 4 million rand. Just the amount of money that's going out as opposed to claims being paid is just it's unacceptable. And it's South Africans' money. Our money is being used to fund this, I just call it a cesspool of corruption and incompetence. So there's so much he needs to answer for. And on top of that, another big thing to answer, he got a 40% bonus last year. I mean, that thing was 4 million rand. I mean, performance for what? It's absolutely bizarre when the rest of the staff got 11% and people aren't getting their road accident payments. It's absolutely bizarre and outrageous.
So, Alan, I'm sure, everybody watching will have their own view, but I'm sure there is a strong case to say, well, someone was issued with a legally correct subpoena from Parliament, if it was legally correct, I'm sure it was, and therefore did not comply. I understand the demand for him to be prosecuted, but I cannot remember if anyone's ever been prosecuted for not complying with such a subpoena to testify in front of Parliament. What I'm trying to say is, I hear you, but I think it's unlikely this will happen.
Yeah, well, I think from our perspective, as I said before, Parliament can't just become a talk shop. So I'm going to do whatever I can in my time here in Parliament to make sure that there is actual prosecution, because it cannot be that people just ignore a subpoena. And it's just like, what disappointing is people further down the value chain that they've appeared. They don't have the legal resources to fight a subpoena. And we've seen grown men cry in this hearing. Yet somebody who's got access to so many resources is ducking and diving when he wanted to come and make clear it's so we will do whatever we can as ActionSA to see that he serves his time at Orange overalls, because otherwise Parliament just becomes a talk shop.
Alan Beesley, thanks very much indeed. Member of Parliament for ActionSA.